want to say thanks to Susan, because when I was speaking with her within the School of Education at Macquarie University, she said, you've got to get in touch with this amazing group of researchers. And I've got to say that just, you know, like from yesterday when it started, I'm really impressed with how deep you have been theorizing and researching this area. And I feel very underdressed because really coming in as a newbie, all I've got today is some contextual information about the issues with technologies education, how it's in its own way unique, and each field is in its own way unique, but really sort of highlighting what's unique about technologies, and also just sort of finishing off with what I believe to be potentially possibly effective way to address some of the out of field teaching issues in technology through the use of technology. And you might all tell me, hey, that's already been done and you should look at this, that and the other. Or you might say, oh yeah, okay, that is sort of an area and for potentially pursuing research. So I'll jump straight in. And of course, I'd like to acknowledge Coral as well, who was wonderful to help me develop these ideas up. So just a quick introduction. I'm chair of the Australia Technologies Teacher Educators Network. So effectively that is my counterparts in universities all across Australia who are responsible for teaching our pre-service teachers how to integrate technology and also teach technology as an actual discipline area, which is, you know, things like computer programming or design and technology. And I'll show you sort of some of the complexity of that area in a moment. I also want to just sort of situate this within the national and international demand for technology capabilities. There's industry and international sort of bodies who are screaming out, we need better quality students coming through from high school and university with really strong IT technologies capabilities. If you look at this Deloitte Access Economics report that was recently released, that in terms of the top 5 most demanded areas, we've got web app, software development, data science, coding, programming, science, engineering, maths. So that really shows how much technology is in demand in the industry. But on the flip side of that, we've got very low confidence and knowledge around cutting edge technologies. If you look at the sort of the dark blue bar there, it's by far the sort of the majority, and only sort of very few people feel that they would be comfortable using these cutting edge technology skills in the field. Just as a sort of a possible impact of this lack of technology skills, we could help just the technologies, media and telecommunications industry grow by $10 billion if we could address that technologies skills gap. And so, of course, you know, the government's pouring billions of dollars into technologies teachers in schools, right? Unfortunately not. So if you look at these, and this is 2022 data on teachers who are in field versus those who have a little bit of content area only or pedagogy only or no training at all, design and technologies teachers effectively rates the lowest of any teaching area in terms of in-field teachers. So it really is sort of, I know that maths and science often are spoken about as, you know, and very important areas. I used to be a mathematics teacher and, you know, have a love of science. But technologies, particularly given the industry demand for it, to have it as the least serviced area in terms of trained technology teachers, I think is, it really identifies that it's an area of high demand. And why is technologies a challenging area to teach and staff? Well, technology skills as opposed to, I used to love being a maths teacher, and it's not that, you know, the way you taught maths didn't change. With, you know, there are great technologies that you can use and innovative new pedagogies and whatnot. But actually what you're teaching when you're a computing teacher is possibly the fastest changing of any discipline area. It involves a lot of physical resources often. You know, it's the computers in the room, it can be the robotics, you can have circuit boards, all sorts of things like that. And often because of their skills, the technologies teachers are then asked to do a whole lot of tech support, professional learning, and other technology things around the school. There's a really wide range of courses that you can be called upon to teach as a technologies teacher. And the skills are in very high commercial demand, which means you've really got to be quite a passionate educator in order to want to become a dedicated IT technologies teacher in many cases. Here's some data around technologies teacher shortage. The most recent version of the technology teacher shortage survey in Australia was in 2019. And it shows that, you know, in terms of out of field, if we come down to here, we had, and the trend is alarming as well, 84% of schools are using unqualified teachers in the technologies area. And therefore that's causing them to reduce their technology education programs and the quality of their technology education programs. The majority of schools has been compromised by the shortage of qualified teachers. Also, there are a whole lot of teachers that are planning to leave the technologies area. It's compromising work health and safety because of the equipment that needs to be operated in safe ways. There are a lot of teachers that come from industry and professional backgrounds, but on the flip side of that, that means there's a majority that just don't have that experience. And also there are a lot of schools that are saying that they just don't get the resourcing they need. And it's really an aged workforce as well. If you look at the technology and applied studies line there are the least number of 20 to 30-year-old teachers coming through and the most number of teachers who are in that higher age bracket there, 51 to 60 years of age. So we have this unvirtuous cycle is the way I'm trying to conceptualize it. And as I mentioned, I'm just at the very beginning of this, we've got under-trained and under-supported school teachers, a suboptimal experience for school students because their teacher is sort of out of field and doesn't have the passion or interest or capability, with fewer students choosing technology, less people studying at university, and then less people choosing to be technology teachers. And I think we would all agree that there are sort of analogies in any subject area. And we need to switch to this virtuous cycle. And a big part of that virtuous cycle where we're getting well-trained and supported school teachers is this idea of providing support for out-of-field teachers to teach it well. So we get students who get a great experience, want to just choose technology at high school as a specialist, you know, a senior level, do it at uni, and then want to become teachers. In terms of the recommendations that the 2019 data report came up with, one of the recommendations actually spoke about supporting teacher education for existing teachers to upskill their technology teaching capabilities. And also sort of other financial benefits, initial teacher education improvement, and getting support for technologies work around the school that didn't relate to teaching of technologies, so that the teachers could focus, technologies teachers could focus on their teaching. So this is what I believe would be a way to address this crisis. And it's the title of the presentation. Actually, you may have noticed that, you know, addressing the crisis undermining technology's education. The acronym for that is ACUTE, and I really do think it is an acute crisis. It's interesting. I speak with New South Wales Educational Standards Authority. I sit on the Australian Council of Deans of Education as their tech rep, and also on ACARA, Technologies Discussion Group. And everywhere they're just talking about this absolute crisis. And I know that it's right across teacher education and education generally at the moment. But it's really, as those earlier slides were showing, particularly acute in the technologies area. So as a way to address this, I'd like to propose this model to whoever will listen. And it's great to have a captive audience here right now. That we get our best technologies teachers and we train them up and support them to teach online to a number of different classes. So that you have students in these classes that are getting the absolute best and most expert technologies teaching that we can offer in any educational system. And then we have the out-of-field teachers working in those classes with students to undertake the activities that have been well prepared and designed and prescribed by the expert teachers who are centrally supported to do so. And through that, a couple of things are happening. First of all, the children are getting the best technologies education that they can, rather than if they were just being taught by the out-of-field teacher in the classroom, the chances of getting such a high quality instruction and activities and design and interaction and feedback and all of those things are obviously much, much lower. The other thing that's happening at the same time is that those out-of-field teachers who may be actually quite interested in teaching technology, but just don't have the training or background knowledge and awareness to do so, are getting a vicarious apprenticeship. So they get to understand what great technologies teaching is all about, and they get to do the hands-on work with students in the class. The third and final component of this model would be that we offer those out-of-field teachers who are managing students in the class time to undertake university studies in technologies teaching, so that they are getting both the hands-on experience and being supported to teach it really well, and they're getting the conceptual underpinnings that also help them to have that sort of autonomy to do more than just sort of follow other people's instructions, but then to also design their own curriculum and teach their own classes in future. So in order for that to work well, I think it would need to have really dedicated and expert online master teachers who are the people who are teaching maybe 2, 3, 7, 30, 50, who knows how this scales. And of course, it's very important that this sort of teaching can happen, because also often there are so few technologies teachers out there that we do need to sort of work together in clusters a lot more. You could schedule classes before or after school, like at the sort of the 3:30 to 4:30 or the 8 to 9 sort of time frame, so that it didn't interrupt the existing teaching program. You need to give, I believe, the out-of-field teachers time to undertake that university studies. It shouldn't just be a, just place on top, you've just got to do that yourself. If we want to really prepare people properly, we need to properly support and resource it. And you also obviously need, whichever institution and system is going to take this on, you need them to do so in earnest and fully, so that it gets supported and works. So look, A10, we want to do this sort of thing. We can really sort of advocate for change and coordinate things and conduct research and embed research into teaching programs. One of the great advantages of this network is that we do have this wonderful national collective. So if we come up with some research about how this out-of-field teaching might work and might work well, we can disseminate that really well and broadly. And we're very happy, and we've got a lot of industry and government connections. But we need to sort of get help from other organisations such as you about awareness raising, collaboration, information, funding, and also most importantly that I should actually have as the most important bullet point down there is input into the research design, because while we sort of have technologies education research expertise within this network, we don't have out of field teaching research expertise. So that's why I really wanted to come and connect with this group. So look, this is the summary. There's not enough qualified technologies teachers in the system, obviously. And so we really need to support out of field teachers. And I think a flexible technology enhanced model for doing that could really offer some advantages and possibilities. And any ideas that you might have about this would be immensely appreciated.